The iHemp Hour is brought to you by Down on the Farm hemp seed oil. Better eggs, better fries through hemp. Get yours at downtothefarm.biz. All right. Thanks to Krystilion for sponsoring the iHemp Hour today. iHemp Hour's mission is to educate, inform, and promote the research, development, and cultivation of industrial hemp in Michigan. iHemp Michigan advocates for wellness in people and the planet through hemp, and it begins with the farmer. I'm Dave with iHemp Michigan. Mike Brennan, you have some news for us.
I do indeed, yes. From my other, this is my main publication. Shameless plug there, but I also have Michigan Marijuana Report, and from the Michigan Marijuana Report, I want to mention there's a couple of virtual conferences coming up. One on Saturday that free to attend, and I think it'll be very useful. It's the 2020 National Drug Policy Reform Seminar that Normal is hosting, and runs from 12 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You do have to sign up in advance. You can find that information at mimarijuanareport.com. And I would encourage you, if you want to, whatever your feelings are on drug reform, you can at least hear what the experts have to say. Some talk about there may be federal legalization here coming up after the elections. Who knows? So the other one is a really big conference that last year was live, of course, all these were. It's the Benzinga Virtual Cannabis Conference on August 18th, next Tuesday. I attended the live conference last year, and there was hundreds of people there, and gosh, dozens of exhibitors. And it got a chance for me to really meet a lot of people in the industry. So this is a virtual conference. However, that being said, they are setting up side meeting rooms where if you want to talk to investors, if you want to talk to other players in the industry in Michigan, that can be arranged. A small fee on that. Again, you can find that information at mimarijuanareport.com. I would encourage you, if you're in the cannabis industry, to you can watch it for free, but if you want to participate, it costs a few bucks. I don't think very much, but I would at least check it out. And again, you can find that on my other website. So back to Dave, or do we go to Blaine?
Blaine, I think Blaine's got some updates for us.
Okay, go ahead, Blaine.
I have a bunch of news this week. Matter of fact, so much that came in yesterday, I haven't had a chance to digest it all, but I'll give you the best wrap up that I can of it. We have a little bit of news on the seed from China. Dave, have you got that picture we can show? So I just want to be careful. If you get any of these seeds from China, make sure that you contact USDA or contact us. We'll help you get in touch with them. But
yeah, this is what's happening, guys.
There we go. So that's what happens when you plant those seeds from China, folks. So just remember, be careful what you get in the mail. It may not be what you think it is. So
and don't get too near the plant, right?
That's right.
So.
That's right. Yeah. Everybody thinks it's a scam that somebody's doing that they're doing to try to get ratings for shipping and that kind of stuff, but just be careful. If you get them, don't plant them. Make sure you get them to USDA. That salmonella outbreak that we talked about last week about the onions, just to let you know that has expanded to more than just the one farm that originally was mentioned in there. Now all Thompson International was the original one. Two more packers, Taylor Farms and Progressive Farms. This issue recalls these recalls came out last week, which kind of means that reducing the likelihood of the contamination took place in one packing facility. So again, just check what you got at home if you're using onions. And this also goes for onions that are in other products, like if you go to a salad bar or those kind of things, it can also be in those onions. So just be careful. Just let you know, so far they've had 640 cases reported in the United States. 43 states are involved. Michigan is one of them. They've had 85 hospitalizations.
Wow.
At this point, there's been no deaths. but just be careful as we go forward. You can always go to the USDA or FDA site and get these. Sometimes I'm scared when I open up my mail every day. I get these recalls from all this food that nobody mostly doesn't hear about. And here's one that I wasn't going to bring up, but since MDART put it out, that kind of means that we've got this product in Michigan somewhere. There's a recall on frozen cooked shrimp. And there's a whole list of companies that are involved in this, but it's the 1 pound and 1.5 and 2 pound retail bags. The reason why it prompted my attention, because 2 days ago, I went out and bought some frozen shrimp. It was on sale. I thought, well, maybe it's fine. Aquastar, Sensi, Fresh Market, Kirkland, Unistar, Tops, and Wellesley Farms are what the brand names will be under. And again, there's a whole list of it on the site you can get. But if you've got any frozen shrimp, and this goes back quite a ways. This actually goes back to February, late February, and through mid-May. So it may be in your freezer yet. If you bought some, you might not be using it. So just check those out. We don't want anybody getting sick on that. Excuse me. Hemp was not listed in the recent list of new crops that got put out by USDA for assistance. Doesn't mean we're giving up on it, but was not listed in that yet. So there's no word yet from FDA that submitted the cannabinoid enforcement policy draft to the White House. So no words come out on that this last week. And somehow we all missed this one. National CBD Day was Saturday, August the 8th. And that is recognized by the Registrar of the National Calendar. So that will be coming on. And next year we will plan some kind of a little event for that for sure.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be live next year.
I hope so. Yeah. We'll do something fun. So right now, while our legislators are home and also contact the legislators, U.S. Hemp Roundtable is an easy way to contact our senators, because right now there's a bill in the Senate, the spending bill they have up, for hopefully including some things into hemp that we need to have help on. So if you go to U.S. Hemp Roundtable, it's really easy. Just put in your name, address. It goes right to whoever your senator is, sends it to them, says, hey, please support some of this stuff that's in that bill so you can help us out.
I'll
University
put that link in the chat. It's actually Hemp Supporter.
Is that what it is, Dave?
Yep. So
Okay.
I'll put that right in the chat.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. Hemp
So
Supporter.
click on that and boom, boom, and you get it to them. And so everybody can help us out with getting that out there. We all need that, both process growers and processors, both alike. Let's see. There. So there's a lot of people, and in that bill, there is support to move the current October 31st, November 1st deadline for going into the new rules under USDA, to move that to September 21st. So we're trying to move that a whole year ahead. So that's part of what's in that bill to support. Kentucky, University of Kentucky came out with a recent study for the dual purpose hemp cultivation's best biofuel potential. And this is for grain and for fiber, not so much for CBD. Haven't even had a chance to review it. Like I said, it just came out yesterday, but pretty interesting information they have there. They list the varieties and types of seeds that produce the most biofuel or oil situation. So one of the leading ones out of there was actually from Poland, I believe, is where that seed's from. So let's see, what else we got? Oh, Dave's working on trying to figure this out, but there's a new feature-length documentary called CBD Nation. It's going to stream on Amazon on August 25th. And so there's a trailer that you can watch on this. And it's a pretty interesting trailer. It's an 85-minute film, I believe it is, documentary.
I have the trailer. We don't need to play the whole thing, but can you want me to share just a little snippet of it? It's pretty cool, just to see how, it really touches on, pull some.
Walks in and he said, "That's your daughter's face." It looked like somebody had been shot in the face with a cannon.
1,000 switches a day, grandma's for an hour and a half. He was in the ambulance 42 times in the first 4.5 years of his life.
I was addicted to opiates and on antidepressants that made me want to kill myself.
I spent days in bed.
I was taking 7 opioids a day. Every day we see her just deteriorating.
Yeah, so you can see the setup's pretty powerful. That the way hemp is impacting people's lives is really meaningful. So we'll do a live stream of that, for that event. A little watching party.
Excellent. Let's see, a couple other events that are coming up. The Hemp Supply Chain, it's an online education event. It's August 20th, 2020 from 6:15 to 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Registration's coming out pretty soon, and we'll get some information on that. Also, Penn State Extension Hemp Webinar Series, Planning for CBD Harvest, will be August 24th at noon, from noon to 1. So some couple of good ones there I thought that you might want to be aware of to maybe partake in that. And kind of in Michigan news, remember, if you're going to send in your hemp samples before harvest, you may think it's early, but harvest is just around the corner, folks. I know it doesn't seem like it is, but it is. We've already had fiber go down, and grain is going to be harvested probably next week in some cases. So remember to follow the rules that are on the website. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. You got to call the lab, get an appointment, get a time set up, and you can work out being able to either drop it off or being able to send it in. I'm still looking for livestock farmers that want to be part of the livestock feed research program. So if you know somebody that wants to do that, get a hold of me. We're working on getting that set up. Personal note, I'm still looking for a dehulling machine. If anybody knows one that's got around one anywhere, probably somebody in the back of somebody's barn, somebody's grandpa had it and nobody's ever used it in years probably, but that's what I'm looking for. And if anybody is growing for grain this year, I am a buyer of the grain. And if anybody's crop goes to seed, like mine did last year, I'm interested in getting some of that seed as well. So just a word out there, if anybody's doing grain, I'm looking for that. And the reason I'm looking for that, of course, is because the oil is going very well, and I think I'm going to run out of the grain that I have, and I need some more oil for that.
Speaking of another sponsor of the iHemp Hour, Down on the Farms. And don't you have a special offer on your hemp seed?
I do, Dave. On the oil, $5 off right now, and you can pre-order. Should be about 2 weeks. I'll have more available for sale. The first batch we did was all sold out, so but $5 off. It's iHemp Hour, and you can get a little discount on that, and we can get that out to you.
No, do they go? Did you say they go to the iHemp website to order that, or to your website?
Downonthefarm.biz.
Okay. See, I was trying to get you a shameless plug there.
Yeah, just add it into your cart, and you just put iHemp Hour right here. And look, you save $5 per.
It goes from 15 to 10. Yeah.
Wow, what a value!
Awesome. That is awesome.
And it's only available right now to people that know about the iHemp coupon. So
now, is your picture on the label there, Blaine? Or
not yet, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We're getting lots of phone calls and emails regarding processing and drying services and buyers for this year's crop, and growers looking for labor for fall harvest. So remember to go to the iHempMichigan.com website, look under the business listing, classified ads. We made the pricing very affordable there to place an ad or classified as a business person, and do take advantage of that, because that's one of the best ways we have right now of tying everybody together, who's looking and who's buying. Labor is going to be a kind of a big thing for a lot of these smaller grows. So if anybody out there has got a team they put together for labor for harvest this fall, and right now for pulling males if they have that, or weeding, get your information up on the website, because there's people looking for that. And the big news that I'm going to end with, and we'll get on to our very important and person today, is the iHemp, the Midwest iHemp Expo. It is a go. We are definitely going to do this. It's going to be January 22nd and 23rd. We're planning for a live show back at the Lansing Center, but if the rules will not allow us to do that, we may do a virtual. We are going to do a virtual if they won't let us do that. And we also may be able to do a combo. We're working on some details to do that, where if they let us do groups of 10 like we can now, we're trying to work out, okay, how can we get 50 people in the building in 5 different places, do that. So we'll keep you informed as how that goes. Any of our sponsors from last year exhibitors, be aware that we're going to do that. And we're looking forward and planning a great lineup of speakers and topics, again, like we had last year. So with that, that is my bit today. So Dave, back to you.
All right, excellent. I'm excited today to introduce Nick Young of Krystilion. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correct. Krystilion.
That's correct.
So Nick, we reached out to Nick, what was December or so last year, and twisted his arm, and he was a presenter at the 2020 Midwest iHemp Expo to talk about processing. So, and Nick has some new intel to share with us. Kind of a new cannabinoid, if we can call it that, I guess, right? So, I just wanted to share too. I'm really super excited that Nick's going to come play ice hockey with me in a couple weeks too, so I can combine my two passions into one. And I confirmed Casey Yosin, so we're going to have 3 hempsters out on the ice together. I think it's pretty awesome. Eventually, we'll be able to get a whole team here. So if anyone plays ice hockey, reach out to me and we'll arrange that. So
now, Nick, no hard checking into the boards with Dave. That's part of the deal. So
I'm the commish, so you got to be gentle and give the old guys a break.
No one told me those rules.
No blood, no penalty, right? Is that how that works?
I'm good at getting out of the way, Mike. Don't worry.
Okay,
good.
Oh,
hey, we've got a goalie. Awesome. We always need goalies. Reach out to me. So, Nick, first off, thank you for participating with us with the Midwest iHemp Expo. Thank you for sponsoring the iHemp Hour, stepping up. I know it wasn't a condition of you being on the show. We wanted you on the show regardless. So, this is just kind of a twofer for us. But could you start off? Tell us about your experience with the Midwest iHemp Expo, if you don't mind.
So it came up pretty sudden because the show was in January. I think you guys reached out end of November, December, said, hey, we got your name from this and that. Want to learn a little bit about you. So, inside of 6 weeks, it was developing, building, planning content. It's like, is this going to be relevant? Is it going to work? And, just having our booth there and then doing that speaking session, we've had a tremendous return off of it. I told you this, Dave, off the record, but on the record, it was a great show. There was a lot of very relevant conversations there. I met some people there, even at other booths, that I've done a good amount of business with. And there's a lot of people that were visitors there that we've gotten cracks at business. We haven't won everything. We haven't lost everything. So overall, you can expect to see us back there. Whether I'm speaking or not, we'll definitely be involved this next year. It was definitely worth it for our business, for exposure and legitimacy and all that. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people are battling right now is, how do I legitimize myself versus the billion other brands, right? So it definitely helped out.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So
that's one heck of a testimonial too. I want to cut that out of the video and you can put that on the website.
There we go. Excellent. So what's Krystilion? What's that stand for? What's that about?
So it's a play on the Greek word crystalline. And when we started building this company, this was back in 2018, right when the Farm Bill came out. We were looking at this, and at the time, one of the hottest commodities in hemp was CBD isolate. And we were able to make it, and not a lot of people were. And so in our mind, we're like, okay, we're going to make crystals, and that's how we're going to do that. And then on top of that, one of the key misses that we've seen just in the industry is really good communication throughout projects and really having that crystal clear understanding of where are you at in line, what is your yield, what is the product output. And there's just a lot of missing pieces that there's a lot of things. It's like, here, trust me. And so with a lot of our backgrounds coming from technology and consulting and things like that, we saw an opportunity to provide kind of that crystal clear consultative approach to building out new CBD brands. And that's where Krystilion comes from. So we really focus on distillation, isolation, and product formulation. And that's where we're at today.
Excellent. All right. So we've had some conversations, and it sounds like you're kind of niching down in your business model. Can you explain that and why you think that's important? Because, part of this in 2019, we were talking, oh, you need to be vertically integrated and do it all because, otherwise you're not going to get it done. There's kind of out of necessity. We had to, be fully vertically integrated. But as the industry matures, there's a change to that, isn't there?
There's different approaches to it. There's definitely some of the vertically integrated companies that they're doing okay. Especially a lot of the smaller ones that are kind of putting out their own products, they're able to kind of scratch it out. But for us, we decided to go big into the distillation side of it. So we really scaled up and automated our distillery to where we're able to distill about 4,000 liters per month of oil into full spectrum oil. So we can take on a pretty good amount of volume, which gets us into some really good conversations versus some of the smaller niche players. So we thought going big in one area was a lot better than going small in a bunch of other areas and spreading yourself out too thin. I just think you end up being more of the same. And then on top of that, it's a commodity-based item. Prices, will drop, prices will fluctuate, and being able to have a high amount of output allows you to weather that storm as those prices are fluctuating. So that's really where we've stepped up in our focus. And then also with just some of our engineering talents, we've helped other farmers build extraction facilities on their farm. And I fully believe that you'll see a lot of regional extractors making crude oil. But the crude oil is really not ready to go into a final product. It still needs some refinement. It needs to be cleaned up. And so that's really where we exist, is to help clean up imperfections and really turn something into a sale ready product.
Okay, cool.
Impressive. 4,000 liters a month, you said?
That's correct. Yes.
Wow.
So we can go through about a 55-gallon barrel per shift of crude oil. And so, yeah, that shakes out to about 4,000 liters a month if we're running one shift.
Okay. So let's your Savvy line. How did that get developed? Where did that come from?
So, so to take a step back with kind of where we've been and the people that are on right now, our listeners, they're either, probably first-time farmers or they're second-time hemp farmers. And coming out of last year, you just got to look at what the situation was. There was more production than there was demand, and that's resulted on a lot of people sitting on a lot of product, processors included. And you see some larger processors like Gen Canna, for example, they drew up bad contracts that weren't profitable for them, or they weren't able to honor them, and they kind of tanked themselves a little bit. And so the result of last year with the amount of production met with, steady growth, but not explosive growth like everyone was kind of planning on. A lot of people were sitting on a lot of ingredients. And so, with that, you can take a couple of different approaches. One of them is you can trade it as a commodity, mark down the price and try to move it. And a lot of people did that. You can see it online, all the brokers, me too, I'll do it for less, mine's better, less, and you can play that game to an extent.
Race
I would
to
rather,
the bottom. Yeah.
I would rather not. Coming my background from technology, we decided to invest in innovation. And so what we've been able to do is, and we're not the only ones, but we've been able to convert CBD into other cannabinoids, specifically ones that are minor cannabinoids that aren't necessarily prevalent or super prevalent in hemp. So Delta 8 THC is what we've been working with and working toward. And that's where Savvy comes from, because we have all of this additional product, and we need to find different ways to move it, right? We can put it into product, we can put it into lotions, we can put it into tinctures, we can do more of the same, or we can get into maybe some experimentation and we can fool around and see what we can come up with. And so the result of that has been creating THC Delta 8 distillate. And we've been making those products. Delta 8 is going to be a very hot cannabinoid this year. So I think the market in general understood that it was probably going to be there was going to be kind of a flavor of the year. Farmers have been planning for CBG. as kind of a play there. And Delta 8 just came out of nowhere. A bunch of people figured out at the right time. They were able to get it into a compliant state. And that's where we kind of sit today.
So what's the difference between THC, Delta 9 and THC Delta 8?
Do you want the outcome answer or the nerdy answer?
Oh, give me the nerdy answer. Come on, man.
So if you look at the molecular chemical makeup in itself is pretty similar, but it just depends on where they have a double bond in the chemical structure. So when THC Delta 9, there's a double bond that exists on the 9th carbon. And for Delta 8, it exists on the 8th. And so there's a small chemical makeup, but from an outcome perspective, it is very different. As someone I operate in both markets, on both hemp and on the marijuana side. And I've tried both, and the outcomes they're different. It's different enough to where it's not just a loophole, in my opinion.
Okay.
Can you describe the difference?
Yeah. So, and this is me being anecdotal towards my experience. I've beta tested this with a number of people, and I would say for the most part, it's been pretty similar results. So for me, if I'm smoking Delta 9 THC or marijuana, which has been bred to, THC Delta 9, for me, I get very drowsy, I get tired, I get down. Not necessarily a bad thing, but like at the end of the day, if I'm trying to slow down and maybe and go to bed type of thing, marijuana is really good for that. But I got a 2-year-old, and that's not really, I don't have that lifestyle. So I have a more active lifestyle. So this, to me, it's a little bit less psychoactive. So it's a little bit less of a high, but I don't get down and drowsy. I don't get the munchies. It's actually kind of a nice little focus thing for me that I can do kind of during the day. And I don't know, it helps kind of level you out during the day, which is really nice and gets you going. So I've used it in more of an active lifestyle role than I have on the marijuana side, but it's, results are going to be different person to person.
And that was the 9 you were describing rather than the 8, right? It's just
correct.
clear.
And the 8's a little bit less psychoactive. It's more of a daytime type of thing. If I'm going to go do something, if I'm going to go golf or, do something like that, it's really, really good for if you want to be active and doing stuff. If I want to be zapped out in front of the couch and watching TV and fall asleep, then I'll smoke marijuana. If I want to go do stuff and be active and not feel down, Delta 8 is going to be preferred for me.
Yeah, are you currently selling those and promoting those other than on this video here?
We are. So we do sell them on our website, on the Krystilion website. We have the Savvy line, and then Dave flashed at the beginning because it is difficult to explain until you feel it, right? So we did come up with a coupon code for iHemp. I'll have someone send it out, but we're doing 40% off. So it'll be basically $25 cartridges we'll be doing. They're normally 40. We are selling them wholesale. We do sell them direct to consumer. And then we're also developing in conjunction with a couple of different labs. We are going to be doing a couple of other product lines as well.
No, not to change the subject, since this is a brand new product. Before this product, what were some of your best selling product? What were you really moving?
Well, aside from the ingredient side, right, distillate, isolate, things like that, I would say we've made and we've done pretty good in the tincture space. We have some specialty tinctures that we white label for other companies. On the Krystilion line, we've stuck with mint. It tastes good. It works well. We have customers like it. But we've gotten more into specialty tincture flavors for other customers. So the one that's been really rocking lately has been the caramel cappuccino, and then honey lavender has been really good too. So those have been moving really well. Our muscle freeze that we have that has additional extracts from arnica. Actually got it right here. So we got muscle freeze that just rolls on, which has been really good for pain management or some sort of relief or repair.
Yeah,
But,
because
you
you're
know, this is-
talking to three baby boomers here. So, I mean, muscle relaxation might be a good idea, right? So,
Oh, absolutely. And so we've been really what Krystilion was really focusing on was is in the topical space. And we've been really starting to move towards the spa industry where people are willing to pay maybe a little bit more for something to be medicated versus not, and they're getting a little bit better outcomes. They're using multiple products, which are touching the different CB1 and CB2 receptors. And it's really good for the massage therapist too. Their hands aren't all broken up at the end of the day. They're not hurting as bad either. So we're finding a niche there.
Nick, are you able to take out the THC in your product? Are you able to, or not?
To a limited extent, yes. So the process, what we'd be looking for is chromatography. We have a very, very small scale unit that we basically just use for ourselves. I have a very large quote for a very large extract or very large chromatography machine that we're not there yet. But the goal is for us to get into scaled out chromatography where we can isolate the minor cannabinoids and be able to do some research with them.
There's been some talk about being able to utilize that THC when you take it out, and there's some legal situations there, obviously, with the current laws we have. Have you heard anything about that or anything there on that area?
No, but what I am excited about is I believe there was a July 1st release from the MRA that says that they're going to open up capabilities for hemp processors to work with marijuana processors. And as someone that kind of has a foot in both, that really helps us out to be able to go do some things. And I mean, a lot of the problems that exist in the Michigan marijuana market could potentially be solved with some of the surplus that happens that's going on with the Michigan hemp scene right now. So there's some good synergies that could definitely happen, but a lot of it is waiting for the metric software to open up in order to let that happen.
Yeah, back to that tracing and transparency, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. What?
go ahead.
Well, I was just curious. So you're taking crude to make the THC Delta 8, or can you make it from a distillate?
So ours is created from isolate, CBD isolate.
Or from isolate? Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So you could take
So we have the capability in-house though to be able to take crude to isolate and then kind of keep it going down the line. We just don't do extractions.
So if I brought you a couple liters of distillate, you could take it all the way down?
Technically, yes, we could. The problem with some of this innovation side, and I saw it in technology as well, is as innovation happens, everything else needs to catch up. And one of the key issues that we've had with catching up are some of the testing facilities. Some of them haven't had the standards, they haven't tested for it. They tested the same way as THC Delta 9, and I'm not a testing lab, so I can't tell you if that's good, bad, or indifferent, but I can tell you that I've sent samples to 15 different labs. So what we've done on the Delta 8 side is we've kept absolutely everything in-house because it needs to be very, very closely monitored. Because we are going to follow the law and we understand that we're pushing the limit, and there's a reason why it's called bleeding edge. So we're not taking client material to Delta 8 right now because we're not always successful at making it the way that it needs to be made to be in the market. And so there tends to be a lot of waste involved with that, which is unfortunate, but it's part of it.
Yeah.
Can I ask how big of an operation you have? I mean, how many employees do you have? I'm not sure where you're based either.
So I'm sitting in our office. We have two offices. My office is in the East Lansing area. And then our processing facility is in Jackson. And so we have, I can tell you, we keep the trades very busy between electrical and welding and all of that stuff, but those are all kind of contractors. So partners as a whole, we have 4 partners, and then we'll rotate between 4 and 6 employees, depending on demand. So we're definitely we're not big. We're kind of a small, mighty team, but we're going big in the areas that we're shooting for.
And you were saying you're running one shift now, so I'm assuming if demand starts to pick up, you're going to add extra shifts, right?
We could, yeah. I mean, the distillery is in a spot where we could, if it could be fed, we could keep it fed, but it's not. And part of it is just the amount of throughput that we can get through it. So if we had to, I would love to have that problem because it would be financially justified, but we don't have that problem yet.
Yes, expansion is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit earlier about kind of the market a little bit. So, you know, if there's a lot of product that's still available to be done this way and farmers growing this year, what do you see coming up this fall for people? What should the growers be looking for? Where are they going to find the market this fall?
So I truly believe that farmers are going to have to get to a spot where they're going to be taking their plant material to final product. You know, you look at the crude market, crude's trading at, you know, in bulk at $200 a liter. That's break even for the farmer at best. That's not profitable. That won't be able to stick around that way. And so I fully believe that in order for farmers to really turn a true profit for growth that justifies year after year growing, I think you're going to have to look at taking it to final product, and that's where the margin is. And that's where we exist, is to help enable people to take their crude oil, right? Like you're not going to take crude oil to a farmer's market, set it on your table and go, who wants to buy my crude, right? But you could maybe take some tincture or a lotion or bath bombs, right? And now you have outlets for those, or if you have local retail outlets, that's where I think ultimately that's where the margin is going to happen. But I think farmers need to look at monetizing their crop in a bunch of different ways. So I look at hemp as almost like an expressway. You got your first exit off, get rid of some of your biomass, get some money. And then next exit off, pay for or do a split if you can find one on extraction to go to crude, and then sell some of that, and then finance the next portion, which would be going to distillate and final product. And then by the time you kind of roll that cash neutral snowball into effect, you have all of this retail ready product that is high in margin. Even at a wholesale basis, there is still quite a bit of margin in the end product. So that's where I think people are going to have to be willing to go to really want to make good money.
That's what I've had to do with the grain. You know, I couldn't find anybody to buy the grain that I grew a year ago, but now I've been able to make it into the next step of the product. So, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Your neighbor can buy that, right? Your neighbor's not going to buy your crude oil. There's no use for it.
They're not going to buy my grain and make their own oil, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Very cool. So what's next for you, Nick? What's it sounds like you have enough on your plate probably, but do you see anything else coming down the pipe?
You know, for us, it's just watching a lot of the legalities around THC Delta 8. I'm tracking a couple of cannabinoids after that that I think will be big hitters that might not be as regulated. And so for us, we're going to keep innovating. We're going to keep pushing the edge. And, you know, on the marijuana side, there's been a lot of money thrown around, but it's just all been towards THC Delta 9. It's breading it for as much of that as possible to get people as messed up as possible, and no shame in the game, but you know, I like a glass of wine sometimes. I don't just rip shots of Everclear. So I'm really curious to see, as we scale up our capabilities, we start getting into more of the minor cannabinoids. We're working on mass producing some of them. I'm interested on that innovation and research side, that trying to figure out those different combinations of the cannabinoids that might have different outcomes. So that's really where I think the future is really, you know, everyone's talking about CBD and CBG and all these different cannabinoids, but consumers don't know anything about that, nor do they care. They want an outcome. And the different, you know, combinations of things we can put together to get specific desired outcomes. And that's where I think we'll be at.
I got to admit, the CBD world is still pretty new to me too. So, is it have different impact on different people? I mean, the same product, for instance, if Dave took it and Blaine took it and I took it, will we all have the same situation, impact, whatever, or could it vary from person to person? I don't know.
That's a really, really good question. So it does vary from person to person. So everyone and I'm not a doctor, medical professional, anything like that, but I've done my homework. every person in their body has an ECS or endocannabinoid system. And that has different receptors inside of it throughout your body. And so basically what we're working for when we're taking this oil is we're basically stimulating brain health, right? And we're feeding this system as almost like a vitamin. And different vitamins are gonna have different impacts for different people, right? So my brain might need additional chemicals to help relieve anxiety or sleep or depression or whatever it is. So there's going to be, it's not one size fits all. It's not one thing it works for everyone. If they tell you that, they're lying or they're just trying to make some money. So it's complicated, which is why I like it, because I think within that there might be some simplicity that can be found.
Yeah. There's a lot of science in all of this. There's never a dull moment. There's always something to learn, isn't there?
Yeah.
So you offer white labeling service. So if there's farmers out there sitting on some distillate or some crude, you can offer those types of services for them to get those products to sell.
Absolutely. So we do have a BYO program. Again, going back to it, a lot of farmers sitting on a lot of oil, not knowing what to do with it. We have a full catalog and specific price sheet for those farmers that are sitting on that oil that want to create those products. And again, that gets them to that profit line. So we can, for us, we take a little bit more of a consultative approach with it. And it starts with where your connections at the end of the day. If you can't sell it, I'm just going to back you into a bunch of inventory that you can't move. And
Right.
that's not good for them. It's not good for me. It's not good for our company's reputation if we do a big deal with someone and they can't move it. So we kind of go that way. We can help people develop brands. We do all of our own graphic design. So like the Savvy boxes, for example, all developed in-house. So we can pretty much take it all the way to retail ready products for customers and do some customizations around, like scenting or flavoring and things like that. So
Nick, I've been
Interesting comments in there, Blaine. You should look at some of those comments.
Yeah, I'm seeing those, yeah.
I'm not getting shredded, am I?
A couple of nice testimonials in there for both the Delta 8 and then that's Jay, the goalie, is giving you good words on the Delta 8 THC, and then
I paid him to be here. No, I'm kidding.
And then we got somebody talking about muscle relaxant. So
yeah, that was Bill Fox. He's an Imperial Star. I actually had a salted caramel porter last night while watching the hockey game after skating, which was pretty nice. But yeah, so I definitely get that. I love that analogy. The Everclear versus a glass of wine makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, I've been thinking about possibly adding tinctures or some flavors to this, the hemp oil that I'm making, hemp seed oil I'm making. Any experience you've ever had with doing that, or how does that work?
With hemp seed oil?
Yeah.
No, I've stayed away from hemp seed oil and marketing it as tincture, because at least to my understanding, there's not a lot of cannabinoid content to it.
No, no THC and no CBD in the oil, hemp seed oil.
So I'm not familiar with any of the benefits behind making it into a tincture. I haven't done it. We haven't done it. So I don't know if it's good, bad, indifferent. But I mean, we can definitely formulate oil into another oil and flavor it. At the end of the day though, people are going to want to have some sort of outcome for it to really move.
Yeah, what you need to do, Blaine, I would be in is some cayenne pepper infused, so when I'm making tacos, I put my shells, in that oil. Now you have the little pepper, that there's a Great Lakes oil distributor, somebody up in Frankenmuth sells all kinds of different oils. So just flavored oils for cooking.
I think about a different way to market it,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you want to share with us, Nick, today?
No, I don't think so. I guess, yeah. The one thing that I will share is for the people that are out there, that are growers, that are extractors, we are actively looking for places to partner with to take in crude oil to full spectrum distillate for the fall. So we should be pretty competitive. That's the one thing we do. We do it really, really well. So if you all are looking for develop your brand or add lines to an existing brand, I would say check out the Krystilion website, check it out. And if you're interested in Delta 8, we are going to be running that iHemp promo through the end of the weekend. So our $40 cartridges are marked down to 25 or 24, I think technically, with free shipping. So if you have any interest in that, I would say pick one of those up. But other than that, I really appreciate you guys having me on.
So you mentioned term, and I almost understand it, but I want to hear you explain it one more time. So what's the difference between full spectrum distillate and broad spectrum distillate?
Depends on who you ask. So I've heard it broken down into a few different ways. The way that I consider full spectrum distillate is it has all of the original cannabinoid content that came out of that plant. You will talk to some people that believe full spectrum also includes the original terpenes that came out of the plant. Our company removes all of the terpenes during the distillation process. So there's, I would say, a little bit of a change in jargon, but I would say for the most part, it is pretty commonly understood that broad spectrum is all the original cannabinoid content minus the THC Delta 9. And that basically gives allowance to formulators to be able to dose their products with really no fear of, going over that 0.3% THC Delta 9 mark.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
This might be an opportunity, since we have a little bit of time. Do we want to talk about male plants? And we've got a picture here. Blaine, you shared.
Yeah, it's that time of year, when these male plants are starting to come out, and Hermes and all those kind of things. So even if you got, feminized seed, right? You still need to be walking that field and making sure you don't have anything. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything left. Or have what I had last year, just a nice field of seeds out there. Very little CBD content.
Here's an interest. This looks like somebody's, growing on their back deck, and that's a male plant. And did you share with them what they have going on there?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We had a little discussion about that, and
Yeah.
So
I did this in my field last year. I don't know if.
Big field, Dave. Look at that. Wow.
well, that was early on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can't hear your video volume.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're looking for, is you're going to have little sacs, little balls, let's call them, the male plants that are going to come out, and they're coming out now. And
And that technique I wouldn't recommend.
Then you need the muscle rub, right? So
Well, yeah, what a lot of people do, and we got kind of lazy, is you cover the plant with the plastic bag before you pull it, so you don't knock any pollen off on adjoining plants. That's probably the best procedure, I would think. Or better yet, don't grow any male plants. Grow from transplants or clones. That's my best advice. So here's one more video here to share is no, it's probably a little late for this too, maybe the lollipopping. All those plants that are close to the ground, you want to get them up off the ground. And so that's what we're doing here. And you want to take all that plant matter off of the field, because you don't want to get any of those pests a taste for eating your hemp plants. So we did this on 8 rows last year, and you couldn't tell the difference at the end, though. I mean, the amount of
about that, I think you want to do that early before that gets into the budding stage. Otherwise,
oh yeah, definitely in the veg stage. Yeah, this is early. Yeah, definitely.
We're right at that point right now where we're starting to go from the veg to the budding.
Yeah, I think we're kind of past that lollipop phase now, unfortunately, and but you do want to look for males, because like last year, out of 3,000 plants, I pulled 900 males. I should have pulled 902, but hey, live and learn. So, and I didn't save any seed for you, Blaine. I'm sorry.
All right, I didn't know that time. Also, and this goes for processors too. If you're when you're doing the cleaning of the biomass and stuff, if there's seeds available let me know. I'll probably take those seeds as well.
That would be a lot smaller seed though. A lot of these seeds that you grow for grain are a lot bigger and fatter,
A lot
right?
bigger. Yeah.
So your yield's not going to be as good, but
Yep.
still get something. Okay.
I still get something out of it. I mean, it's, no sense in wasting it. That's what I look at it as.
Yeah.
And I want to try some experimenting and see, the seeds that I used didn't have any THC or CBD in it. And I want to find out if ones that are grown for CBD, have any THC or CBD in it when you process it. So we're experimenting going on.
Hey, Nick, do you have access to the chat? Have you opened the chat window? Somebody's asking for you to put your website address in there.
Yep, and I think I did put it on
he did,
viewable by everyone. It should be
I
right.
haven't got my glasses on, so.
And gave
All
the
right.
coupon code too. All right.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. Any other questions? Does anyone have? So let's talk about hockey. No, we won't talk about hockey.
Let's talk about the game that went, how many overtimes?
5 overtime periods. Holy cow. Yeah.
You must have been a little tired after that one, huh, Dave?
That wasn't me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the NHL one. Okay.
Yeah, the Columbus.
Fourth longest game, right? Fourth
Yeah.
longest playoff game, I think.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, and they play at 3:00 this afternoon, so you know what I'll be doing, but while I'm working here. But so Nick,
If you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind throwing a couple of shameless plugs on a couple of brands we're white labeling for.
yeah, you bet.
So I'll show you first one. So first one is That Good. So that's a Delta 8 cartridge. That's in a collaboration with Corey Vanderswag over at VZ Tech. So
cool.
Corey and I were working together on that one, and then got a little bit of celebrity influence with the G8 cartridges, G8, D8. Through a weird series of events, got linked up with a couple of guys out of LA that were on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, one of them, I don't know. And they're working with that right now, working through a lot of the social media channels, things like that. So G8 and That Good are manufactured by Krystilion, and we're partnering with them and excited to be doing some business with them.
Excellent. That's good. Yeah, it's going to take a lot. I welcome all competitors because it's going to take all of us to push the envelope forward and build out this industry.
Well, and honestly, it's one of those things. A lot of retailers, if you're working with someone, they want to have consumer choices. My Savvy brand probably doesn't appeal to everyone. This G8 brand doesn't appeal to everyone, but having them next to each other, competition is only good just because it's going to educate and draw more people in.
Yeah, if you have a choice of 3 in front of you, it's like, oh, which one do I pick? Not, oh, do I want that or not? Yeah,
right, exactly.
Whole different psychology. Yeah, very cool. So talk about your marketing. What do you do for marketing CBD products? You can't advertise on Google or Facebook, right?
No, and so we have a couple different routes that we go. I've been very adamant and stuck very, very far away from making my company a multi-level marketing company. So we don't have an affiliate program, just because I'd be the only one, I think, making money at that point, and that's not why I'm here. And so I guess it's part of why I'm here. But really what we do is it's just old-fashioned canvassing, smile and dial, knock on doors, build relationships, and really just start getting into the different groups of where you're going to be. A lot of my marketing, or a lot of our marketing that we go into, is really not pushing the Krystilion brand. It's trying to get behind some of our white label partners that we're working with to help get their brand out there, because they're an extension of us. And really our goal is to be masters of production, and then helping people, enabling brands to be able to move their product.
Oh, very cool.
I can help you with a little bit of that marketing. We reach about 40,000 people through Michigan Marijuana Report, through the various Facebook pages we're affiliated with. So we can talk after the fact. I didn't want to miss that opportunity to say that.
I appreciate that.
So Nick, we have a question here. So it says, so if I'm correct, you take crude and bring it to distillate.
That's correct.
Or distillate to a final product.
Both. So if someone has distillate, I'll use it. So I know Dave and I were talking, he's got some from last year. He's looking at maybe taking to some products. We do not need to make it in order to use it into products. depending on where the distillate numbers come in and goals and objectives of what the final product is, we might need to augment it with maybe some isolate to keep it in a state. But those are all conversations that we work through on the final product side. But to answer that question, we do take crude to distillate.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, I should probably get some of that biofreeze, just to sell to my hockey players. That I've been making salve, and
yeah,
that's going really well. But I like that applicator that you have. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we're trying to work towards a little bit more single use. So we're doing like towelettes and patches and things like that with using the same gel. So we're trying to get that way.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, a lot of opportunity in this space, a lot of risk. It takes some pioneers to make this happen. So we appreciate you, Nick.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks for making it happen. All right. Any other news updates?
Let's see, news updates. Talk about next week's show. We're going to have Courtney Morin from Earth Law, and she's going to talk about the need for that we all need to take action with our legislators being home right now to help us get reform. What USDA has come out with, this 3%, taking it to 1. I'm shooting for 3%, just so you know. I figure if we go for 3, we'll get the 1 kind of thing,
Good idea.
Kind of thing. But
politics, after all, right?
Yeah, and the testing and everything else. So it's a great time for us right now. They're going to be home. They're going to be on recess from what I like to call Disneyland East, and we'll be able to talk to them. We're going to hopefully have a few on the show next week. We're kind of trying to figure out if we can get a few to be on the show next week as well, so that you can ask your questions and let them know where you stand on some of this stuff, so they know when they go back. And maybe they're not going to vote on things this year. Usually they don't get too much done between now and next year, but at least next year they'll be informed and they'll know where we stand as growers and processors. So we're looking for that.
Very cool.
The other thing I want to talk about is our mask
Oh, yes.
drive that we got going on. We donated a couple hundred of these to MDART. Hopefully they got to the egg people and they're able to wear them. They're really comfortable masks. We're going to have them for sale on the site. I think Dave's going to have some, maybe 2 for sale on his site. I'm not sure, but
they're on iHempMichigan.com.
on iHemp Michigan. Okay, good. So they're really comfortable to wear. They're nice.
I was going to say they're washable too, right?
It's correct. They are reusable, so that's not just a one and throw away kind of thing. And they're also going to be really nice this winter because they're comfortable now, but they're going to be really nice this winter. Hopefully we won't be wearing them this winter, but if we are, they're going to be really comfortable and they're going to keep you warm too for the winter time. So
yeah, you know what? I might wear one of those skating outside because my mustache gets all frosty when it's so
there you go. Yeah.
Or you could wear it when you're playing hockey, Dave. You know,
that's what I'm thinking.
I still have not figured out a way to not make the glasses fog up, but we're working on that.
Yeah. Nick, we have one more question. Bill's asking, do you have plans for any Delta 8 edibles?
Yes. So we need to work with a third party though. We're not a food lab. So I'm in talks with a couple different entities right now, working through some of the finalizations, but I think you're going to probably see some Delta 8 gummies coming out really soon.
Very cool. All right. Excellent. All right. Oh, yeah. The rest.
Oh, Chef Blaine.
Yes.
Forgot.
Now it's time for the chef.
It's that time. That's right. It's that time.
Little drum roll there, Okay, go ahead.
This one's a pretty easy one, too. It's kind of it's a cooling summer bean salad.
Ooh.
I didn't get a chance to make it prior to, but I'll show you the nice little colored picture that they have of it. There we go. Can you see that? So it's colorful.
Very good.
And you can make it any way you want, but this particular recipe, this is from the St. Joseph Health blog, came on the other day. I thought it was pretty good. So they use a 16-ounce can of calamine or navy beans, 2 medium celery stalks, 1 red bell pepper, a half a fennel root, a quarter cup of fennel fronds, which I have no idea what that is, to be honest with you. And I always throw in there, of course, you're going to use a quarter cup of hemp hearts to put on there for sure. Then they have a dressing, a half a cup of hemp seed oil, and a third of a cup white wine vinegar or lemon juice, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and your pepper to taste. And directions, I think you can figure out how to do it. You mix all that up, put your favorite things on there, and you got a cool summer bean salad. But you say, well, where can I get that wonderful hemp seed oil at? Well, we know where that's going to come from. Look on down on the farm biz, or we will be listing where we have all a bunch of fine establishments that will be carrying this product, and you'll be able to get it there. So.
And all these recipes are eventually posted, and we're trying to get caught up on all the website activity. ihempmichigan.com/recipes, and you can find all our recipes that we've gone through. We're getting quite a collection here, Blaine.
We do. Think how many weeks we've been doing this.
Submit a recipe if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got a favorite recipe, don't be afraid to show it. We'll definitely put it up there and try it out. So. Absolutely.
And we should probably let Nick one more time give his website address because we are live on Facebook. And then, of course, we'll produce the show for on demand. But go ahead. You got them all excited. They want to buy your products. How can they find it, Nick?
Yep, so you can go on our website. It's Krystilion.com. It's KRYSTILION.com.
And if you enter promo code iHempHour, you save big money.
Yep. So I'll type that back in, but promo code is iHemp with a capital H. And that gets you 40% off. So normally $40 cartridge is $24. So
wow. I think I
All right.
might give
I'm
that a
assuming they
try.
fit on all standard cartridge things. So
say it again.
I'm assuming they're standard, so they fit on all.
Yep, so it fits on a good question. So it fits on a 510 thread battery. These are ceramic. So, you know, being in the regulated marijuana side, testing for heavy metals is a really big deal, and making sure you have proper hardware that pulls through well and doesn't have any contaminants. We obviously take that into consideration when sourcing the actual physical hardware as well.
And this is something that we can ship through what? How do you ship it?
I ship it through USPS.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, same as shipping hemp. It's a hemp product. It's less than 0.3% THC Delta 9 and THCA, so it's a hemp product.
All right.
I think we answered the question on edibles. That's right. You're not a food. You're working with somebody else. Good. That's what you said on there.
All right.
All
Excellent.
right.
I think that's a wrap, gentlemen.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Good to be with you.
Thanks. We'll see everybody next week.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care.